This week, we launch our own podcast. You can listen to it through Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify. We'll be covering stories from around the world, similar to those you see on this program, but we'll get a bit more personal and candid with our guests and correspondents. So if you're on the go, whether on the train, driving to work, or just out for a run, give us a listen and make sure to subscribe. Search online for CGTN and the Heat podcast. Far-right nationalist movements are poised to make gains in elections for the European Parliament. We will take a closer look on what that means for the continent. Hello, I'm Anand Naidu, and this is The Heat. Before we begin, we're excited to tell you that we're launching our new Heat podcast this week. I'll have more on that later in the program. But first, the European Parliament elections. It started this Thursday in a process that will end on Sunday. To explain the importance of the European body and how it works, here is CGTN's Gerald.
The European Parliament is unique. It's the world's only assembly that writes laws for an entire continent, a total of 28 nations with a combined population of more than 510 million. Representatives serve 5-year terms, and while they represent their national parties, once in Strasbourg, they also join separate European parties with like-minded members from other nations. There are 8 of these pan-European groups, and they span the political spectrum from left-leaning parties, including communists, to conservatives and far-right nationalists. Each Europarty nominates a leader known as a Spitzenkandidat. The leader who secures a majority coalition will become the next European Commission president, replacing Jean-Claude Juncker. EU laws get passed by Parliament, but must also get approval from the Council of the European Union. The Council includes heads of states or heads of government, such as German Chancellor Angela Merkel, President Emmanuel Macron of France, and UK Prime Minister Theresa May, who, ironically, is leading British efforts to leave the EU. Altogether, 751 seats will be contested in this election. That's because Brexit still hasn't happened. Once the UK leaves the bloc, the EU Parliament shrinks to 705 seats. Brexit will be one of the main issues facing the new Parliament. If the UK Parliament ever agrees to a deal, the European Parliament will have to approve it. Now, this year's elections will take place over 4 days, with results released Sunday evening, May 26th. And it's a vote that will shape the bloc's future as the European Parliament passes laws by which every EU nation must abide. Gerald, CGTN, Washington.